my name's Michaela. Today we'll be going over some corkscrews, how we can turn those into a windmill, and touching on a couple of basic extensions at the end. So just to demonstrate what we'll be going through, we've got our corkscrew motion, the windmill, and some extensions, which would look like that. So starting out with our basic corkscrew, it's a concept which is used with various props. So if you have any kind of experience with poi or even with hula hoops, a motion of almost drawing a figure 8 below the wrist and above the wrist. I like to imagine almost a washing machine when I'm making this motion. And some people do find it easiest just to start by imitating the motion with their wrists. So if we're starting with our hands facing downwards, we're following this type of a motion. Our wrists will be together at the top and then inwards and together at the bottom, essentially. Adding a fan into the mix, we want to be rotating the fan with our palm facing upwards. I tend to lead with my right hand and the pinky. We want to rotate inward to this awkward position here. Once our elbow doesn't want to turn anymore, we want to spin up, often above the head, if that's where you like the feel of it, and continue back downwards to the start where we can swirl around the bottom again. I tend to imagine almost a spiral staircase going above and then back down again. So if you can see that type of a swirling motion, it almost creates that figure 8 shape. When performing this trick with fans, I tend to try to keep my innermost wicks or the two innermost points of my fans close together like they're glued. And we're trying to create one fluid line which follows itself around in a repetitive figure 8 pattern. With fire, it reminds me a little bit of a dragon whooshing around, but I can imagine almost a piece of string connecting all of my wicks or all of the spokes on my fans together to create that effect. This trick is one that's really easy to move with. You can do it below and quite small, or you can go really large and play with tempo as well. From our corkscrew, it's also relatively similar to our windmill, which looks like this, in that we follow the same concept of trying to have our wicks follow one another, and we'll be repeating this motion. Instead of being below and above our wrist, it will be behind our head and in front of our head. If I'm performing this trick with my right hand leading and my pinky being the leading one, my left hand will follow. And my pinky on my right hand is doing a rotation first, while my left hand will be doing a thumb-led rotation behind my head. So my hands will be spinning the same direction, essentially at a split time. If you'd like to practice this one, getting used to the motion of the fan spinning in front of and behind the head, you can do one hand at a time. And you can also try to do both fans at the same time, but outward toward the shoulders. As you can see, the fans are spinning in the same direction at the same time. Once the time is split, where one fan goes first and the other fan follows, it's easier to keep it behind and in front of the head. And the closer that your wrists are, the more tidy this will look and the more of that circular windmill shape you will get behind your head. From my windmills, I also quite like to add an extension in between just to switch things up and add a different point of interest. So the easiest transition I find to get into this extension is just to extend my arms out, and I'll perform a 360-degree turn with the arms completely extended, imagining that my fans are hitting every number on a clock that's around me in a big circle. So once again, from a windmill, as I'm coming back down to what is usually my start position, I want to spread my arms wide and extend them all the way, hence the name, and spin around. When performing extensions, it's important to pay attention to our planes as well, and just trying to keep our wall plane as flat as possible. Wall plane being, if you can imagine spinning in front of you with a flat wall straight in front and not being able to hit the wall at all. Another extension which I really enjoy using in my own flow is this same time opposite direction extension. The starting position for this extension is to the side, whichever side you like. Hands together with the palms inward and the thumbs facing up. As I want to start turning, I'll choose my direction. I'll turn to the left for the purpose of this video. And whichever direction I choose to turn is the side of the hand which will rotate downwards along with my body as I turn to face the front. At the same time, my opposite hand will be rotating upwards until I meet this position at a 90-degree turn facing the front. As I continue my turn around, my hands meet on the opposite side with the thumbs down and the back of my hands facing inwards. We then continue by continuing in exactly the same direction. At 270 degrees, our fans are in that pointing up and down position once again. And at 360 degrees, back to the start position, our thumbs should be facing upwards once more. With the same trick, if I wanted to turn to my right, I'll be dropping my right hand downward and my left hand will continue upwards, almost as if we're tracing a large circle around ourselves. Once I've turned 180 degrees, again, my thumbs are downwards and my hands back together. And then back to our starting position with our palms together again. I find that extension really fun just to add a little bit of a tempo change or a little bit of variation in between some other faster tricks which I tend to perform. I hope that you guys love this one and find a way to make it your own. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching.